So 2 weeks ago, or maybe 3 weeks by the time this video is posted, because I have another cartridge I want to go into, we went over the 4570's Dad, the 5070 Government, a slow-moving heavy hitter with its 450 grain projectile. And I figured for this week's Cartridge of the Week episode, let's take a look at another old-school 50 caliber loading that took a different approach with its ballistics, the 5095 Express. So to start off, as we always do, we will look at our head stamp, which on the top we have W.R.A.Co, standing for Winchester Repeating Arms Company or Corporation. I can never remember which one. And on the bottom we have 50-95EX for its caliber, 5095 Express. Now this cartridge, as mentioned, is kind of like the opposite of the 5070, whereas, the 5070 featured around a 450 grain bullet flying fairly slow. This one, though still 50 caliber, as is of course evident in the name, 5095, features a lighter bullet in the 300 grain range, flying much faster, around 1556 feet per second. This is achieved by a combination of not only a lighter bullet, but also a much heavier powder charge, being 95 grains of black powder as opposed to 70 grains like in the 5070. Well enough too, the 5095, though having an increase in powder, is only slightly longer than the 5070, which is of course due to its very slight bottleneck. You can see that below here, the bottom gets a tad bit wider than the 5070. Now keep in mind, I'm comparing the 5070 with the 5095, however, they really aren't that related to each other. I'm kind of just bringing up the 5070 as, a comparison. Mainly because, they're similar, having a 50 caliber projectile, but with a different approach to, how they behave. Kind of like comparing 7.62x39 with 5.56. Anyways, going back into another comparison between the two, unlike the 5070, which was originally intended for use in single-shot rifles, the 5095 Express was specifically developed for repeating rifles, specifically the Winchester Model 1876, which was intended to be a heavy-hitting lever action, originally coming in 4575, then also featuring 4560, 4060, and of course the 5095 Express, which the latter caliber variant was the only repeater to really see widespread use amongst professional buffalo hunters. The 5095 Express would also be the most potent chambering for the Winchester 76, but keep in mind that the chambering and rifles in it would not come around until around 1879. Now for this video, while I try to do my best in my research, information on this cartridge proved to be quite scarce, and while I could not find when the 5095 would drop from production, the Winchester 76 would cease production in 1897, which leads me to believe that major commercial production would also cease for this cartridge, fairly similar to around that time period. As from what I could gather, the Winchester Model 1876 was really the only firearm that was chambered for this caliber. Of course, as with nearly all cartridges, it still sees small-scale production, with some companies offering it for sale, and, people hand-loading the cartridge, and all that. But, as per large-scale production, I would imagine it ended around 1897, given that the main rifle ceased production around that time. Of course, if I am wrong, feel free to let me know down in the comments. But anyways, I think that is going to do it for this week's Cartridge of the Week episode featuring the 5095 Express. Hope you all enjoyed the video as much as I personally enjoyed making it, and I will see y'all next time.